Hello everybody, welcome to Cheryl Technology Channel. My name is Chris and I'm your host for today. Today we're going to be looking at this box right here. There you go, can you see it? Yeah, the Gigabyte Z690 Elite Aorus AX or something like that. Whatever you just heard me say, that's what it is. So in this video, we're going to be looking at this motherboard. I recorded this video once already, but it failed miserably. I could not get the audio to sync right. The video, which is the first time I've ever had that happen. So we're just going to get right into it. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for all the support. And thank you for the views because I've gotten a ton of them here lately. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to just start with some of the things of why I bought this motherboard. Simply put, the reason I bought this motherboard was the price. The price on the box is $200, and as I've said in previous videos, I got the motherboard, processor, and the RAM for $450. It was $400 now, so it's gotten a lot cheaper now. So I think that it's worth every penny now. That the box set that I bought, or the combo that I bought, is now $400. So it's $50 cheaper than when I bought it. And it's well worth it. The key features is, I mean, it's Windows 11 ready, blah, blah, blah. The good thing about this is it'll accept the 13th gen i9 13900K. I have the i9 12900K. It's actually a good processor. Let's see, I love this motherboard because it's got a crap ton of USB ports on it, and I still use them all. So it's got 4 USB 2.0s. It's got Wi-Fi 6AX, so it came with this little antenna with 2 little screwy down things to fit right here. It's got DisplayPort, HDMI, which I don't even use that. But if I wanted to, I could add another monitor. I mean, I've got another port on my video card, but I'm out of space on my desk. One day I'll show y'all this. So then we look at the rear USB 3.2 Gen 2X2 Type C. So I'm using that one for my Focusrite Solo. Somebody asked for a video on that, so I will be doing a video in this series on my audio setup. So let's see. That's where I plug in my Focusrite Solo. I have this USB port, this one, and this is a 2.5 gig LAN. What I want to do with this is I'm going to probably get a 2.5 gig switch at some point in the near future. And what I want to do is I want to take that 2.5 gig LAN and I want to run it into a 2.5 gig switch and over to my NAS. So I'll plug both ports of that NAS into that 2.5 gig so I got full bandwidth now. And it's got, optical here and mic and line out. So mic and headphones, which I don't even use that. I use USB. Let's see. So it has high performance connectors, so on and so forth, unparalleled performance. Okay, so I'm running DDR5 in mine. Now, there is one thing I'm gonna mention here. This little part right here is that's an NVMe drive. And these are 3 more, so it's got 4 ports total. And it's Gen 4 for the NVMEs, but it's Gen 5 for the video card port. That's another reason I recommend this board, because it's cheap. For the amount of stuff that you get, it's a very cheap motherboard. And I have DDR5 in it. So it runs all right. It does a really good job. It does the job. So that's kind of that stuff. Now let's look at the specifications a little bit. It's as you know, an LGA 1700 socket. The RAM I have is 6,000 megahertz, but the processor I have is limited to like 4,800 megahertz. So you can't get the full 6,000 out of it. But trust me when I say this, 4,800 is enough. It does a great job. I've got 32 gig of RAM in mine, and it's more than enough. It does a great job. Dual channel memory, support for ECC. Let's see. So support for ECC unbuffered DIMM, 1RX8, 2RX8, and on the memory chip, it'll have those numbers on it. We have, let's see, integrated. So this is all that, the display port and HDMI on the motherboard, but I don't use any of that. I just use a video card. Realtek audio, so it's got support up to 7.1 digital channels, which I just use stereo, so it doesn't matter. Realtek, I don't really like this part because it's not an Intel-based chipset, but that's okay. It's got Wi-Fi. I don't use the Wi-Fi. I do use the Bluetooth though for my keyboard. PCI Express slot. Okay, so right here. So here's something that a lot of motherboards do. They will say that you remember that first slot we looked at that was singular by itself? Right below that is that PCI Express slot, that really fancy looking one. That one is for it conforms to the PCI Express 5.0 standard. which essentially, I believe, doubles your bandwidth. But do we ever need that? Probably not. So you have all these NVMe slots. And the motherboard has got built-in RAID 0, 1, 5, 10. As y'all know, 10 is no-go. 5 can be used for mass storage. So you can use all those SATA ports on your motherboard, which I won't ever do. Intel Optane memory ready. So Intel, when it has acceleration in terms of speed when you have the Optane memory modules. So like an NVMe drive and I've got one. I may do this at some point, just test the speed, but I know that I have one of these, and it contains, because you're running an Intel chipset, you're running an Intel processor, it has a lot faster connection speeds. So there might be something to do on that too. Here's all your chipset stuff, so on and so forth, your mother internal connectors, your input output. Oh, so right here, 2 Thunderbolt add-in card connector. I don't even know where that's at. I didn't even see that, but that might be worth looking into, because I always need USB-C connectors. Back in the day, it was USB-A. Now I need USB-C ones. So I'm going to have to look into that. I didn't even notice that. It's got TPM 2.0, which, as you know, Windows 11 requires that. So there you go. Reset jumpers, so on and so forth. And y'all can see all the stuff that it's got. It's got all kinds of stuff. I mean, this stuff is pretty good. The App Center's okay. It's not that good. This I would remove and throw it into the deepest parts of hell, because Norton sucks. ATX form factor. So there you go. So you have, now let's look at our news and awards. Let me give you a little backstory, just a real quick one. The reason I went with Gigabyte instead of Asus was for this reason. So Asus was releasing a beta BIOS that would break your motherboard, but then they weren't giving you the warranty for it. So that right there, and I saw it was Jay's 2 cents and Steve from Gamers Nexus. Those two people right there, I like them a lot. I trust their opinion. And they were saying that they removed their sponsorship for Asus. They said, we're not doing sponsorship with you anymore. So that's the reason I went with the Gigabyte, because Gigabyte, I've always heard really good things about them, and I think they're a great company, and I believe that's what most people should use, because they're really good. So anyway, with the price being what it was for the motherboard and the RAM and the processor, I'm going to tell you that this motherboard is a great value for anybody that's looking for something that is reliable, a reasonable price, has good upgradable features, and has a really good life expectancy because of Gigabyte's, because of their quality. They have a good quality on their stuff. Yeah, I really like this motherboard. I really love it. I believe it is probably the greatest value motherboard I've ever bought, ever in my life. Ever. I don't think I've ever got this good a value. So here we can go look at the gallery. So you can see some of the features. So this is that big port I was talking about. A great motherboard, y'all. Great motherboard. Okay, y'all, that's the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching the Cheryl Technology channel. My name is Chris, and until the next video, everybody, I love each and every one of you. May the Lord bless and keep each and every one of you and everything you do. And until next time, peace, everybody.